by the very essence of it, is something that is trying to solve a problem that exists and there is no existing solution for it. Right? So very onset, startups are bound to fail because not everything that you think is a problem might not be a problem. So most of the startups fail because they are not able to find a customer, a product market fit. So you might have a great idea, you might have a great product, but a customer is not able to use the product in ways to solve the real problem that they might be having, or the problem just does not exist that it can scale it along. So such kind of things you are starting, and most of the startups fail because there is no product market fit. Second reason of startup failure is people are not able to build a team that can actually lead to a success. What do I mean by that, right? We can be great at coding, we can be great at marketing, we can be great at whatever we are doing, but this team has to be persistent and they cannot give up. But they, at the same time, they have to be very nimble in pivoting to their initial idea. So many of this team dynamics that is not allowing them to pivot to the idea and based on what customer feedback is coming is also a major cause of the problem, because your team dynamics has to be good, not for a short period of time, for a long period of time, because initially you are struggling, you don't have money, you have an idea, you are working 80 of more than 60 hours a week for a very, very long time, you don't have a family time, your social support, social fabric is still very fragile. You people do not get support as to what they are doing because everyone pushes them, make money, earn your own living. What are you doing? Look what the other person is doing, right? That social dynamics pulls you down. So the second bigger thing is team dynamics and the ability to pivot, to rightly pivot. You can't pivot on every idea, but the rightly pivot, that takes them down. And the third biggest factor to me, which I find, is money. People think money is a first factor. I do not think money is a first factor, because money comes in, you'll get the funding if you have a good team dynamics, you have a great product. So incubators, literally just the word go, they will help you incubate, right? They will help you take your idea and give you a structure. And they do not, usually incubators do not have their own, it will not allow you to follow a structure. You can go for a very long period with them, but they will give you the tools, they'll give you the information of how you take your idea into an MVP. And how do you define all of the components in there? Whereas accelerators usually take you when you already have a MVP right in front of you, right? So accelerators are gonna have you in your system when you have a product. You might not have a great product market fit, but you should have a product, you should have an MVP, and then they will take you. And accelerators are usually for a fixed duration, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, a month, a year. They have a set structure. And that's the reason you will find most of the accelerators usually take the cohort based on the vertical you are in. Fintech, agriculture, AI capability for supply chain, and all of the cohort is going to be usually in the same domain because they have a fixed program for that cohort that will have them. Now, I like accelerators usually help you to scale. One of the biggest mistakes most of the startup founders made, and I made it very early on too, a couple of years back, we start thinking of scaling without even trying to figure out, am I able to get, so before you even scale, is your messaging right? Can people read your message, understand what you're doing, are ready to sign up? Are they ready to pay you money? If you have a customer, you are a SaaS model business, And what is the churn? Are people leaving your business? If you cannot answer these questions in a positive way, then you are not ready to scale. So when you are talking about scaling, the first thing is the entry gate. Are you ready to scale? Are you ready to scale from a product perspective? Are you ready to scale from a logistics perspective? Are you ready to scale from a compliance perspective? Because as you scale and as you go, you need to make sure that you are managing your regulatory compliances. You are able to manage your privacy rules and compliances if you're international. And how are you able to protect your team? Because when you scale, you need to have that very good HR policies too. Usually people think of scaling just in terms of scaling the product, but scaling will come across all the components that are running for business. So I tell people, look at the business model canvas. And when you are scaling, all the 9 blocks should be ready to scale. One word, clarity. Second word, honesty. And I define that whenever you are working with an investor, make a very clear plan. Make a plan about communication, that make a charter, that this is the communication expectation. Set those expectations. So again, clarity in terms of communication, clarity in terms of product, clarity in terms of who your customer is, clarity in terms of your growth plan. And that has to be very clearly articulated. Define the goals. Make sure that when your relationship is just getting started, you bring these 4 things on the table to establish trust. Because most of the time, you are not going to be talking to investors every day, but make sure you have enough touch points and you're open enough and you're vulnerable enough that you are able to build trust by doing everything professionally. So if you have to build trust with your investors and you have to build a relationship with the investors for a long term, first is be very clear across the board. Second, be honest, because if you lose your integrity, then the journey is going to be tough. And trust is a byproduct. You cannot buy trust, right? Trust comes over a period of time. So what you can do as a founder, you can be clear and you can be honest or integral in whatever you are saying. Then third, don't make small mistakes. Like for example, you go to their site and there's a spelling error. You got to show to them that you are a detailed oriented person. If you cannot show to the investors that you are a detailed oriented person, then it is like, if he cannot even look at one sentence and write it properly, how can he manage when he's growing up? And they start getting cold feet. So be clear, honest, and professional. Number 1 is a product market fit. So if you are creating a product, is it a bigger fit with the people or not? 2, are you niche enough? So if you create a generic product, these days very difficult. You got to pick a niche, first grow the product in that niche, and then start expanding. What a lot of, hey, the whole world is my marketplace. No, it's not like that. You need to pick a very, very, very segmented and a focused approach to solve a problem for a particular set of people. And if you have solved it for them, then you have a revenue stream. You have people who are going to renew you the next time. And in order for you to have those challenges, so what I recommend is, after people have used for 3 times, I always tell founders, reach out to your customers, do active surveys, do how they're using the product. Are they even engaged? Create your KPIs and metrics of measuring engagement of your users in your system. If their engagement is low, they will not renew, they will leave you. So coming back, I think your main question was, what are the challenges? The challenges are, the first thing is keeping my customer engaged with my system. Is my product requiring the customer to log in every day, every week, every month? Understand, if your customer is not using your product once a week, they are more likely to leave you. Because you are having a SaaS product that person is not using even once a week, they're more likely to leave you. And a person who has not used in a month, they will definitely leave you. So you got to measure the engagement of the user. So the biggest challenge for any scaling processes is your product good enough that is able to keep the engagement high of your customer? That is the first challenge. Second challenge is education. My product can be very good, but people are not able to understand the usage of it easily. And if the people are not able to understand the usage of it easily, they will leave you. That is the reason such a focus, especially in the SaaS world, is on onboarding. How do I make the user feel? So that is also a challenge. It's not easy to get the onboarding done. As a founder, focusing on the features as well as onto the process of educating the users, making things easy for them, increasing the engagement is very difficult.